What's up, everybody? My name is Brian. You are Epic clients, and this is Titanium Training LLC. Here we go. What you guys got going on for this motivated mindset madness Monday is this workout here on the board behind me. Oh, also, please, I know you probably can't see it, but I can smell it and feel it. I'm super crazy sweaty because I just got finished working out. So, with that, I mean, like I said, you might see some craziness, maybe some sweat dripping all over the place, but listen, I decided for authenticity's sake, you guys need to see what I do and that, you know, I really do all these workouts, so on and so forth on down the line. So let's talk about today's workout. So what you guys got going on today is you have 2 sections of exercise with a fun little finisher there towards the end, as we usually do, typically on a Monday. So let's talk about the first section of work. You have 3 exercises. What you're gonna do is 1, 2, 3 rounds, and then the last 2 rounds of the first section are going to be the top exercise. Same thing goes for the second section. You're gonna do 1, 2, 3 rounds of everything, and then the last 2 rounds will be the top exercise inside of the second section. And then when you're done with that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do these 2 exercises here. With these 2 exercises here, you're going to do 40 seconds work with a 20-second rest for 2 total rounds worth of work. So, just a real quick, fun little footnote. Here's how our basic training system works. What you guys have is you have, and I'm pretty sure I've explained it before, but I'll explain it again just for people that might be new to this. So what I try to do is I try to have one specific pattern of movement and try to make it a strength movement. So you're gonna work inside of sets of like 5 sets of 5, 4 sets of 8, 3 sets of 7, and the idea is to do a challenging enough weight to where, well, obviously, like I'm saying, it's supposed to be challenging. That specific exercise is supposed to be a challenging weight inside, or a challenging resistance inside of that exercise. The other 2 exercises correspond to the first exercise as what's called an accessory exercise. These accessory exercises help bolster and strengthen and make the first exercise better. So that's the purpose of the second 2 exercises. This way you guys kind of sort of understand how it works. And this is kind of how I try to generally program things. And as always, much like I'm going to do here in a second, explaining all the exercises, how they work, and what have you. Like I said, there's always a progression and a regression of each specific exercise that allows you to accommodate for your specific training level, injury, or whatever else that is that you have. So, with that being said, that's how your first sections work and your final section works. Like I said, I'm dripping with sweat. So let's go ahead and get on to, let's flip this thing around, let's get on to the other side of the room and show you guys how we get down. Alright guys, so you don't know this, but apparently on my fun recording device, I ran out of room. So I had to completely delete everything that I had talked about, and now I have to completely start over again from the beginning because it would be too hard for me to edit it and then try to put it all back together and make it make sense. So you know what? We can do another take. It's not a big deal. Here we go. So, much like I talked about just a few minutes ago, I am super crazy sweaty, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to, like I said, just combine a bunch of work all into one day so you guys can get the benefit of seeing a seamless transition from one section to another. So after my workout, let's talk about your specific workout for today and all the fun stuff that goes along with it. So let's talk about section 1. Inside of section 1, the first exercise that you guys are going to be doing is a slow motion and single arm chest press. That's what you guys are looking. That is slow-mo SA chest press down below. Oh, and as always, like I said, just look down below. You can click that fun little arrow button right over there, and that fun little arrow button is going to tell you, it's going to have a drop down. It's going to give you a description of what each specific exercise is, the order of operations, and how many reps and sets that I'm looking for from you. So, with that being said, let's talk about the first exercise, which, like I said, is a single arm slow motion chest press. So, what you guys are going to do is you guys can do this from the bench or from the ground. That's actually completely up to you. So if you don't have a bench or a couch or something that you can lay on, you can always just lay on the ground and you're going to get the same exact idea out of it. So Then what I want you to do is I just want you to lay down on the floor or on your bench. Woo! Still super sweaty. Oh my God, it's uncomfortable. So what you're going to do is just making sure that both feet are on the ground, your back is as flat as humanly possible. What you're going to do from here is you're going to slow motion press up, and then slow motion press down. So anytime we press or we pull, you want to make sure that your forearm is as close to the bottom part of the rib cage as you can. You do 5 on one side, switch it out, 5 on the other side. Now, you can use any implement that you want. That part honestly doesn't matter. What does matter is making sure that you go slow up and then slow down. If you can't use weight or don't have weight, here's what I want you to do. So, while you're down there in that position, what I want you to do is just want you to focus on squeezing your chest. Just squeeze your chest as you push forward slowly, and squeeze your chest as you let your hand back down. Because the act of squeezing the chest is just like creating resistance inside of that movement. So, with that, that's pretty super simple. So let's just move on to the next exercise. So the next thing you guys have is a single arm clean. So with the single arm clean, what I want you guys to focus on with that is where your hips are at. That's what I want you to focus on there. It's not so much about from here to here as much as it is from hips pushing forward to hips pushing backwards in order to control the momentum of the exercise. So what you're going to do is you're going to push your hips back, the starting position, and then hand between your knees. Then you're going to push your hips forward like somebody's kicking you in the butt in order to bring that weight up, boom, and then land it at the chest. So it's just knees, chest, 10 or 12 on one side, haha, I almost fucked up, and 12 on the other side. And if it's too much to do that aspect of the exercise, like you don't have any implements or anything that you can use to do that, that's okay. Just bicep curls. Boop, 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 boop. Because the bicep curl is actually super important for your chest press. That's science, and I'll talk to you later about that. So, so the next thing I want you guys to do inside of section 1 is I want you to bench dip. So, 2 different versions of this. The first version is just actually the bench dip itself, obviously. So you're going to sit down on the bench just like this, hands just a little bit outside of shoulders, and then you're going to pick up your chest. You're going to slightly slide your butt off the bench, let yourself down, and then back up, down, and back up for 3 sets of 12. If that's too hard to do because you have a shoulder issue, that's okay, guys. Don't do it, all right? I have an option that will still work the tricep out without having to put too much pressure on the shoulder. So what you're gonna do is lying on the bench or on the ground, like we just got finished talking about, what I want you to do is start here, and then let the weight or whatever down towards your face, and you're gonna press it away from your face. Let it down towards your face, and then press it away from your face for 3 sets of 12. Ta-da! And that's it for section 1. Keeping it super simple, super sweaty, here on your Motivated Mindset Madness Monday. So the next section of exercise you guys have, the first exercise you guys are looking at is what's called a suitcase deadlift. For this exercise, I'm going to grab my fun little friend here. My fun little friend is 45 pounds worth of freaking iron and skull, and it's awesome. So what you're doing first is you're going to stand beside the kettlebell, so you're not standing, so the kettlebell's not in front of you, it's actually going to be beside you. So just like a normal suitcase you would pick up at an airport or anywhere else, you're going to push your hips back, slightly bending the knees, squeeze your stomach, just like that. 5 on one side, switching it out, same thing, 5 on the other side. Now, if that's too much to do, that's okay, don't worry about it. What I want you to do now is I just want you to do what's called a forward reach. And what forward reach does is it gives you a little bit of balance while you push your hips backwards, stretching the hamstring and the glute, and then standing back up straight. Out, stretch, hamstring and glute, and then stand back up straight. And just do like 10 of those, and that will actually give you, like I said, something kind of sort of inside of the lane of what I'm looking for that specific exercise. Let's talk about exercise number 2. The next thing you guys have is a push-up position rotation. Two important things about this in the push-up position rotation. One, you're not doing a push-up. There's no push-up involved in this. Number two, when you rotate, the idea is I want you to get a contraction through the midsection of the body. That's honestly what I'm looking for. So with that, let's talk about it. Let's show you how it works. So, what you're going to be doing first is hands down on the bench, just like so, in the push-up position. And then, like I said, you're just going to rotate into a side plank and then bring it back to center. Rotate to a side plank and then bring it back to center. Now, you can do this on the ground as well. You can do it on your knees or on your toes. Either one is fine, just whichever position is most comfortable for you. And you're going to do 3 sets, like I said, 10 on each side or 20 total. Now, the last exercise we're going to do is one of my favorite exercises, only because of the fact that it has a much larger carryover into the mobility of your hips. That's the big thing about it. And what's what I personally call the lateral squat. So what you're doing is you're going to start with your feet more than shoulder width apart. Now, keeping your feet flat on the ground, that's all the toes and the heels on the ground. What you're going to do from here is you're going to lean to one side and then squat down at the same time. So I'm leaning to the left, squatting to the left while I'm keeping my right leg straight, squat, and then back up to center. Squat, and then back up to center. Now, if it's too much for you to do that, that's okay. What I want you to do then is I just want you to point your feet out. Like I said, so if it's too much for you to lean side to side, that's okay. We'll keep our feet and everything up underneath our hip, or at least up underneath our shoulders. So this way we don't have to worry about so much the actual sumo squat of it being too terribly wide out, because sometimes our balance isn't always the best. And that's okay. We can still get the stretch of what I'm looking for in a different direction. So, keeping your feet slightly pointed outward. Let's push back so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. Oh, God. So, you can see my feet are pointed out just a little bit more than normal. And this is what's called a plie squat. Normally in the plie squat, the heels are a little bit closer, but because of the way my feet are pointed, we're going to call it a plie squat today. Semantics aside. And then what you're going to do is push those knees out as far as you can in the squat, and then stand back up. Push out as far as you can, and then stand back up. For 3 sets. Now that one, you'll just do 3 sets of 10. And that's it for your 2 sections of exercise. That's the resistance end of things. Now let's talk about the finishing side of things. So, the last thing that you guys are going to be doing, like I said, is the finish. You have 2 exercises. With your 2 exercises, it's 40 seconds work with a 20-second break, and you're going to do it for 2 total rounds worth of work. That's kind of the long and the short of all the simple math. Now what we're going to talk about is we're actually going to talk about the 2 exercises. Exercise number 1 is a jump lunge. So what you're doing here, on your toes, and you're up, you switch, up, and switch, up, and switch. That is the jumping lunge. Now, if you can't jump, that's okay. Don't jump. Just alternating reverse lunge. So just here, step back, squat down, and up. Step back, squat down, excuse me, and back up. And if you can't do that, that's okay. Just go and bend down as far as you can. Bend as far as you can, bend as far as you can. Like I said, and it's fine either way. The last thing that you guys are doing is body weight squats. So after you take that 20-second break, the next thing you're going to do is body weight squat. So you're just going to squat, 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 bop, 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 bop. Just like that for 40 seconds. If it's too hard to just do body weight squats, that's okay. Sit down on a bench or a chair and then stand back up. That's it, guys. That's your workout for today. Keeping it simple on your Motivated Mindset Madness Monday. I'm Brian. This is Titanium Training LLC. As always, as you guys are here on the channel, I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and please, please share it with your friends. All these fun videos, there's a description underneath of this video, like I said, giving you the order of operations, how many reps and sets of this specific exercise. And if you have any questions about the exercises, You can always slide that little dial backwards and go back to any specific exercise you're looking for in order to be able to do that specific exercise. Or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop them down below in the comments, or you can hit us up on Facebook, Titanium Training LLC on Facebook, and Titanium Training on Instagram. And you can always hit us up in any of those places. Please feel free. Ask all the questions you want. I'm more than happy to answer all of them as fast as I possibly can. Big love, big hugs, big kisses. Mwah! Enjoy the rest of your day.